Greetings viewer, it is I, Lucy Scary, and I'm here with my fourth sketchbook. And as you can see, I finally started putting the dates on these things. I don't remember where I got the idea to do that. I just know at some point I was like, you know, I should probably write down the dates of when I do these things. So as you can see, I started this October 2015 and finished it the next month of November 2015. Honestly, I don't know how I filled these up so fast. I mean, I had circumstantial reasons like, oh, well, I didn't do both page, I drew really big, I didn't finish a bunch of drawings, but that's still 60 pages that I did, I guess 2 pages every day. I guess I was just really into it. Anyway, so let's just hop into this. Oh gosh. Oh no, I feel like I'm gonna do this every time that I start one of these. You probably can't see it that well, but this is, you can see the head of someone here, some pretty clouds, sun. This was another thing for the Transcendence AU, which I've talked extensively about in my other videos. So there's this song that Jubyphonic did a cover of, because I'm a huge Juby stan. It was like seeing. Anyway, so it went like light years and the raining clear to show a sky so bright, amazing. This is my rendition of Differ from the Transcendence AU. As you can see, I was still trying to figure out how to draw colors and faces, and I wanted him to draw like this galaxy in his eyes, the galaxy in his eyes, but you know, I don't know if this is before or after. That's actually a good hand. You can tell that I probably used my own hand as reference for that, cause that's actually decent. I can't remember if this is before or after I did the bright animatic for the Transcendence AU. That was like the first proper animatic I did. I think I did it, I don't know, I'll have to look it up and see when I uploaded it. It was like, for a while it was like my most popular video because it got like 1,000 views because there's like 1,000 people in the Transcendence AU fandom. But gosh darn it if we are not active in the fandom back in 2015. So I don't know if I made that one and I wanted to do another one, or if this was like my first idea and that was like my second idea. Anyways, so leading me away, why does my heart sway? Painful things, like cause his teeth, I just don't get. Cause I remember I would be so lazy whenever I draw these. I wouldn't want to have to draw like the full body, so I would just do one of these where it's just the tears. And of course his tears would have been golden, so it would have been a pretty, and literally I got so lazy that I just said pretty galaxy and moon. But that's decent, look at that, he's so cute. I mean, the shoulders probably need to be a bit bigger, but it's a cute hair. Sing a whole new world, a starlight glittering, a moon who's only 16. I don't know what these eyes are supposed to be. And I thought the moon was in front of him, not behind him, but you know what? We're not gonna worry about accuracy. And then I was really proud of this one because I was like, maybe I should actually use a reference. I actually looked up what the style of Gravity Falls was, and I was gonna be like, this is like regular Dipper, and then this is like awkward Dipper. Hey, have I changed for the better? Do you think I'm strong? It's just, I don't know. And then that was all I got done, I guess. Oh, look at this. Some Desponia art. Back in Desponia's old design. I actually kind of liked these drawings. This is Gasoline by Halsey. I always bounce around which song Gasoline goes with. Because it can really go with a lot of my OCs. It's one of those songs where like parts of it can go to different ones of my OCs, but the whole song doesn't really fit with one of them. Like with Desponia, like when it actually gets to like the main chorus, it doesn't really fit, but the rest of it, like, it's like her singing to like Philip, I guess, I don't know. It's like, are you insane like me, then in pain like me? I remember I thought that this was like really good. Like I was so, well, I mean like, you gotta be, whenever you're me and you never draw feet or legs or anything below this area, the fact that I did a full body drawing was just, I was so proud. Her feet, like that's definitely a style. Like my sister draws feet. Oh, well, I mean it's a lot better anatomically, but it like very much goes like thick down. I do really thin legs now, unless I'm drawing a character that's thicker, but it still goes in, and I just kind of lump the feet there. But I kind of like that style, so I don't think I was trying to do that style, but anyways. So this is me. I used to do this thing, doodling my day. I think I went over a bit in one of the previous ones, but these were really things that happened to me. This one isn't as funny now, looking back at it. But anyways, but I still think this is really funny because this is something I actually did. I was in computer programming class, and I was at that point where like it was in the school year that I just didn't care about anything anymore. It's October, which means it's like 3 months into the school year, but still. So the teacher said, we had some interesting answers for this question, because we would go over the answers in the class. And I remember earlier when I was taking the test, when it got to question 5, the question we were going over, it was just, why do we care? And I didn't know. I was like, why do we care? And so, you know, me being the edgy 15-year-old, I said, because if we don't, the world will end and we shall suffer forever. I drew a pic. I didn't actually draw a pic, but it's funnier if I say I drew a pic. You not caring, surrounded by fire and dead bodies. I thought it was funny. And I didn't get punished because the teacher was like super cool, so I knew he wouldn't care. Anyways, so here I am waiting for a thing, and my suite mate walks in. It was a boarding school, so we would have like 2 rooms that were connected by a bathroom, and 2 people would stay in each room. So she wasn't my roommate, but she was my suite mate. So she comes in and gets the plunger, and I'm like, her toilet must be stopped up. Wait, no, my suite mate's toilet is also my toilet. And she just looks at me and says, don't ask, and then walks out. And I was like so scared. But I guess nothing really happened. And then another doodling my day, because apparently I had nothing better to draw. So I casually walked by a piano, and without thinking, I just pressed a button and it made a noise, and I was like so shook. Why did I think this was so funny? I was like, oh, this is making it into my doodle in my day. And then this was with the Gravity Falls finale, me freaking out about it. The end of the world is closer than the end of the summer. Turned out Alex was just being extra. Anyways, and then in art class, he would set up these displays of things we had to draw, and I hated it. But now I'm really glad that I did it, because now I can actually draw things. But anyway, so there's like a flower, pretty plate, some hairpins, like a hairbrush, a necklace, and then just a deer skull. And I was like, one of these things is not like the others. Oh gosh, no. I tried to do a self-portrait. Oh. No, it's okay. It's not a bad idea. You can draw yourself. It helps you get better at realism. But if you are gonna draw yourself, my suggestion would be not to spend time on little details, to kind of just like lay down a sketch layer and then like keep on refining the sketch, as opposed to, you can tell that I drew the eyes and then I drew the nose and then I spent forever on the lips, and then I tried to do parts at a time, and that never really works out, because you get things like, what the heck is going on here? Am I balding? Let's be honest, I am. This was the start of another doodling my day. I guess I was late to something, taking you have to walk like 5 billion stairs to get somewhere. Oh gosh, I actually remember this day because I failed this guy's test, and then he let us retake it, the people that failed, and I failed that one again, and he told me to like meet him in his office, and we would like talk about it, and I was so stressed out, and I was like, where is this guy's office? And it was like a really humid day, I guess. I was not having a good time at this school, y'all. I still love this drawing. I remember when I drew this, I was just like shook, because I was like, it's amazing. I really liked it. I mean, her hair's a bit, like, it's not the best perfect drawing, but for my 15-year-old self that never spent time on anything, you can tell that I really liked this one. You can also tell because I kind of reworked, I think this one was Maria. I think I've talked about Maria in the last one. The one that I draw every year in the September redraw. That's coming up, hopefully. But as you can see, I like this one so much that I eventually kind of recreated it with Paradox. It was the same basic idea, where it was a picture of Paradox standing in front of a sunset, because that's supposed to be a sunset on water, with kind of the light shining behind her, just looking very happy. Look at, that's such an anime expression. And then it was supposed to be like somebody holding it, like she was dead or something, and this was the best picture they had. Anyways, kind of depressing. And then because I had just spent like 30 minutes drawing something, I wanted to spend another 30 minutes drawing something. This is me being super edgy. I had one friend, and it was this guy, and he claimed that he loved me, and I was like, but you don't even know me. Cause like we knew each other for a week, and he was like, I would do anything for you. I've never felt this way about anyone. And I'm like, but dude, we don't even know each other that much. It was so, I feel so bad for him, cause honestly, like I was such a terrible person. It's like, I'm not gonna get into my past romances, but like it didn't end well, cause basically I didn't know how to tell him I didn't feel the same way, so I just pretended like I felt the same way. Okay, sorry about that. My phone stopped recording on me, and I don't know why, like Apple doesn't have some sort of way to ding or something to let you know that it stopped recording, so I just went on my merry way and recorded me going through the rest of this. So, I'm sorry if I sound a little tired because I have to re-record everything, but you know, let's just get onto it. So, I had just drawn 2 beautiful drawings, so I felt the need to emphasize the fact that I don't normally draw that well by drawing quality art. Look at me, I'm so quirky and funny. This is something that confuses me to this day. And so there's 3 situations that, like, for some reason, somebody said something and I was just like, okay, but I completely forgot what I was gonna say for the 3rd one, like, no idea. So the first one, somebody was just like, yeah, you look like someone who would watch Steven Universe, mostly because you look like a Steven Universe character. What? How do you look like a Steven Universe character? Like, am I supposed to be insulted by that? Or like, is that a compliment? I don't know. How do you, like, is it because I had kind of poofy hair? Like, I don't understand. And I was just like, okay. And then this was my friend who wanted to be more than friends, and I was like, okay. And then no idea what I was gonna put there. More doodling my day. I was like, is everybody gone? I've got the entire suite to myself. And then I just played on the computer the entire day. Like, it wasn't like I was like excited for nefarious reasons that I could like go, like the entire suite was empty. It was just like I wanted to be alone so I could watch TV. This is more of that gasoline thing. This is actually kind of funny. So basically the idea is she was like buying this bottle of champagne, but then like she was like portaling where the bartender couldn't see to just grab money. But I accidentally drew this too far down. So I was just like, I'll just draw her arm really far, and then it didn't work. So I bought a $100 bottle of champagne like me, and then just nothing. So this was a concept I was playing around with. There's supposed to be like a huge explosion in the background, and this is supposed to be Stephanie and Gabriel and Galliana. Basically, I was like, what if, because my story isn't tragic enough, what if Philip and Anomaly just die? And Stephanie is actually the one to raise the twins, because I really like doing this where like I kind of leave the story kind of open, like, oh, I know that Philip and Anomaly have twins, but I don't really know what happens besides Galliana exploding and dying, which by the way is no longer canon, but like back then. And then like I could throw things in like, what if Philip and Anomaly died and Stephanie had to raise the orphans? Because my story is malleable, I can just do that, and it ends up making the story a lot more complicated than if I just sat down and was like, okay, what happens next, what happens next, what's happened next, which is a fine way to do stories. I just like hopping around in my stories. I never really developed this idea any further because I really liked Philip and Anomaly, so I don't think I particularly wanted to kill them. But I mean, it's an interesting idea, so I might return to it one day, because I did return to Anomaly. I don't know if I mentioned this, but she's actually a character again. But she's not a halfling. So this is when I actually started having friends, and we were sitting around drawing, and I was like, I can draw, so I tried to draw dysphonia. The problem is, and you'll notice this with a lot of my drawings, back then I would just like draw the face, and then I would draw the hair, and then I would draw the shoulders, and then I would draw the torso and the rest of the body. And instead of sitting down and like sketching everything out and making sure things are in the right place before I go in and add details, I would just do it one at a time. And like, if you've been drawing for decades and you like know where things go, you can kind of just sit down and draw the thing out. But for anybody else, I highly recommend doing a sketch layer and then refining that sketch as opposed to just going in and starting to draw. this one too, because I hated that one, so I like just went over it and I was like, I'm just gonna redraw. I'm gonna do something I know how to do. So I drew the eyes, and then I drew the nose and the mouth and the eyebrows, and then I was like, and then I drew the chin, and then I drew the hair. And you can really tell because it just looks really wrong. And then I was like, I got tired of drawing good. Have an eye. So I just drew my little persona character, which I'd drawn a lot, and it's really interesting the different styles that I combined for this. Like, if anybody's ever read Dork Diaries, you notice that I do the Dork Diaries way of drawing arms and like things, and then like this is very animu and stuff. And this is actually the way that my friend back home drew eyes, and I was basically just copying her, and then eventually I stopped. Oh, this is another one of those. Instead of writing down a concept, I did it in comic form. Oh, and I really love this little drawing because they're so cute. And I like how these hairstyles have the same 4 hairstyles I give every character. I kind of like her hair there too. Sorry about this shadow thing. I don't know how to fix it. But basically there's this thing called a metallic. And I also, whenever I first went over it, I didn't remember that 6 was actually blind. It's really hard to call your characters by the right name when they're literally just numbers. I didn't realize that 6 was supposed to be blind because it says has fab hair even though is blind. Anyway, so this is 4 saying, oh my gosh, a metallic, so cool. And then 3rd, for some reason, just says, yeah, pretty freaky, but not as freaky as first weird hair. My hair is not weird. Dude, it's a shadow shade. It's a dark red shadow shade. It's the concepts that did not stay. And then I just redrew 6th because I love her, and I was so proud of this drawing for like the longest time. I mean, it's still a good drawing. Like I really like the face shape and stuff. I just wish I had it zoomed in so much. I always did that where like I zoomed in because I didn't want to have to draw the whole thing. This was a joke that I thought was just so funny. When something that is fanonly accepted gets discredited by the canon. So here's the fandom looking at the credit canon, canon, but fandomly accepted concept, but then fandom just like, hey you! It's so funny. Back when they used to have these hand mark things, so I was gonna do a ref sheet for the hand mark things. Why is 3rd white though? Because I also wanted to keep track of what colors I was using for everybody. And then I was gonna redraw for 1st and 2nd like properly, but I hated it so much. I was like, why does he look so much like a girl? And again, a lot of my problems would have just been solved if I had just like drawn like a quick sketch of where I wanted everything to go before I went in with the details. Like honestly, I don't know why I didn't just do that. Oh gosh. So this is another doodling my day. In computer programming class, there's just like stuff in the room, and there's just all these little things that like, I don't have ADHD, but I really like to mess around with things while I like listen. There's like a button that I could push, there's like something that I could like do like this, but my favorite thing was like this gear. I don't even remember what was fun about it, but it was my favorite thing to mess with. It was way funner than all the other things. So these are all my toys. They're like sitting on my desk, like clearly mine, like I mess with them. But this one was my favorite, but I actually started paying attention and I looked down and my favorite toy is gone. And I look over and the guy next to me has stolen this piece of trash from off of my desk and started messing with it. And that's mine. And it just gave him the death stare for the rest of the class. He never even noticed. Like, that's my trash that I mess with. You weren't allowed to mess with it. Gosh, I'm so salty about that. Another comic idea thing, except for it's super edgy. I think I wanted like 1st to like talk 3rd out of suicide or something. I don't know if it was suicide particularly, which just cheered her up, and then later 1st was being all like, woe is me, and what's the point in it all? And she's like, oh, what's the point? And then, and what's the point? What's the point? For some reason, she's just not a good drawing. She says, I'll tell you what's the point. Oops, skipped a page. Do you not remember that day when he like cheered her up? You know they say this mic, that looks like bike. Lake is magical. That's why it glows. I don't know why I find this whole thing very cringy, but it's probably because it's like just a highly emotional moment that I just didn't really handle that well. But the concepts are still there. The concepts are still used even to this day. I'm like, that's a kind of cute first face. I mean, his body wasn't amazing, but again, that would have been solid if I just done a sketch. Anyways, Vin art just, I was having some struggles. Anyway, so there was this new character I came up with. I really wanted to draw him because he was like supposed to be smoking hot. So what I did was I looked up pictures of like really hot anime guys, and I was trying to recreate it, and it just wasn't working out. So I was like, I found a different photo, I'll try to recreate that. And that one also just wasn't working out, so eventually I just gave up and just drew him in my little chibi style. It's not really even chibi. And he was like, hi, I'm the new character Syracuse's trying to draw. I swear I'm not a girl. And I was like, he has abs because he's supposed to be like really hot. Anyways, and then I redrew him properly instead of trying to find like, I really like this drawing. I like this character. Clee was so cute. Look, you can even tell there's the remnants of a sketch layer there. Amazing. That's why it's actually better than most of my art. Okay. But like, look at his hair. He's just a good boy. Like, the reason he was created, like, that whole storyline doesn't happen anymore. But like, I still think I should find a way to work him. Look at this good drawing. Ah, it's so cute. Oh gosh, that's actually like really good first. Like comparatively. So this is Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. If you've heard the song, he goes like, so tell me how you're sleeping easy, how you're only thinking of yourself. That's not how the song goes. Anyways, this is supposed to be first. I know he's not a girl, I just didn't know how to draw, and I learned, kind of. So tell me how you justify, tell me all your life like second nature. Again, shouldn't really use the reference, that's a really hard angle to draw from, but I just kind of gave up. Anyways, mark my words, one day, you will pay, karma's gonna come collect your debt. Yeah, I actually got a map part and ended up redrawing this entire thing, and I'll put that on screen if you want to see it now. I kind of want to redraw it because I don't know if that was like a year or 2 years difference, but it was really interesting, especially this part. I thought that it looked a lot better in the redraw, but the eyes kind of looked like exactly the same. I'm like really scared that it's gonna cut off again because it like just cut off. Anyway, so let's try to get through this really fast because I'm like running out of space. I'm screaming off in the distance, and like it gets louder because this is like a road. And then you see Desponian Paradox just drive by because I thought this was like the funniest thing in the world. You can tell I used a reference for the car because it actually kind of looks like a car. And then they just drive off. And it says, boy, the wrong people get to be immortal, which is actually a quote from the guy from Hotel Transylvania. And it basically just sums up like Desponian Paradox's entire character art. I'm not entirely sure what this was about. I guess Desponia was killing immortals and Death got mad at her for it. So she was like, oh, I'm sorry. As her spirit fades going, And then I got a new haircut, so I drew it, and this is the same haircut I have today, because I really like my hair that length. Anyways, this is a much better self-portrait than the one back there. And then I drew a character from my cringy creepypasta that I wrote when I was like 14, and I rediscovered when I was 15, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna draw that character, because I can draw now. And that is it. We are out of time and out of phone room. So I hope that you enjoy my 4th sketchbook, and hopefully I'll have more room to record my 5th sketchbook next month. I guess I'll see you there. Bye!